Well, good morning, afternoon, everybody. We have a special guest here to talk to us about video, which I'm personally excited about. Any kind of lead source that's repeatable, that is less time consuming than regular cold calling, door knocking, something that connects you to people more on a regular basis, just sounds amazing. So Kaila, if you go ahead and introduce yourself and kind of tell us a little bit about where you are, how much you sell, all that good stuff.
I love it. So hello, ladies, and to anybody that's watching recorded. So my name is Kaila Lindsey. I'm with eXp Realty. I've been around the block and around the corner and been bankrupted back. So I'm going to tell you some of the things that I did wrong and some of the things I did right. But I've been in real estate for 8 years, and I started off doing expired listings. I loved expireds. I still love expireds. I'm that weird person that legit loves to cold call. It is, I know, very rare, and people hate getting cussed out, but I really like calling those people back and going, I'm so sorry, we got disconnected, and then hearing them tell me again that they hung up on me. It's just so much fun. I know I sound sarcastic. It really is fun. So anyway, so I started my career off doing expireds for sale by owners, and expired was really my niche. So I was that structured agent that I'd be on the phones 9 till 12, making it happen, and it would happen. You do the things. I'm going to point this out, write a bunch of this stuff down, by the way. Be consistent, and it will happen. If you just do the things, it will happen. I'll explain in a little while how that's come back to full circle. So my first year in real estate was full bore was 2015 into 2016, and I was rookie of the year, did 29 transactions. Now, if I had done 29 transactions in my first year with this market, it would have been far more when it came to commissions, but back then my average commission or my average sale was about $150,000 to $180,000. So, and I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina, by the way. I also live in Surf City, North Carolina, part-time. So I got started, got going, and I got to the end of the year. And my goal getting into real estate was, if I can make $50,000, I will keep going. But I'm going to give it my all my first year, and I know I did my best. I got to the end of the year, and I'm adding everything else up on loose leaf paper because I didn't track my numbers. Track your numbers, guys. All your numbers. Track every number. It's really cool to look back. And if you guys want, I actually have a commission tracker sheet that I can show you guys and share with you guys for future use, and you guys can all use it. It won't have my commissions on it. You can put yours in. So anyway, I didn't track it, and I'm on loose leaf paper, and I looked at my husband. I said, babe, did you know I made $120,000 this year? And it's more than either of us had ever made. Mind you, like, I was coming off of, base pay of 50 plus sales commissions that were, almost nothing usually. And he goes, whoa. I was like, yeah, whoa. So then the following year, by the way, my expenses, track your expenses. My major expense was my call dialer, which cost me $4,000 that year between that and the leads. So it's a pretty darn good return. It was a lot of effort. I had to do the work. I had to learn the scripts, go to the appointments, and just, figure it out. And by the way, it didn't mean I landed every appointment I went on. It's a numbers game. I had to talk to 20 people to get one appointment. And I did that every day, and I got at least 5 appointments a week. And then of those 5, I usually got 1, right? So it's just a numbers game, and not all of them sell. That's just another thing. So anyway, going into my second year, I doubled. Going into my third year, I almost doubled. I was like, wow, this is really cool. And then I had a year that was absolutely terrible. I started focusing on working with one client. Now, have you guys ever heard of like the whale? Like, you have your client that's just a whale, but what happens when you focus on just your whale and your whale goes away? So does your business. And this person wanted me to manage his portfolio and this and that. So I started focusing on it and building a business before even getting paid, because I enjoy building things. So we pick our head up 6 months later. There's nothing in the pipeline. I have almost no money because I've run through all of it. And I looked at my assistant. He looked at me and goes, "You going to get back on the phones?" And I said, "Yeah." Now, here's the cool part. I had absolutely nothing in the pipeline. Went ahead, got back on the phones again, and guess what happened? Business exploded again. And I wasn't having a record year because I already kind of screwed that up for myself. But I was able to do the things I knew what to do and built my business back. So then I actually started tracking my numbers a little differently. So it's funny, I don't really know what the transactions were between 2016 and 2020 because I wasn't tracking them on a spreadsheet that I could keep for year and year and year. So now I can go into my spreadsheet and look and say, oh, wow, what happened after that? So I went from 2018 being an absolutely terrible year. I think I brought in like $180,000. Now, some of you might be going, oh my gosh, that's a great year for me. But think about this. I had developed a business that now had expenses, like more expenses because I was making the money at that time. I could pay for those expenses. By the way, just because you could pay it doesn't mean you should have it. So I went ahead, I was like, well, this is a crap year. Going into 2019, where I did $350,000. Going into 2020, where I did $483,000, going into 2021, where I did $519,000, going into last year, where I did $287,000. What happened? I realized there's a cycle of me every 3 years. So what ended up happening was I wanted to launch other things, right? I wanted to take the knowledge that I had and teach other people. I wanted to coach. I wanted to launch a program. I wanted to build a team and show them this is the things to do. So I put all of my time, effort, and energy into, attracting agents to teach them my ways and hoping that they would take that and expand it. But here's the thing. In doing that, what you focus on expands. And when I was focusing on, it was expanding, but people weren't doing what I would think that they would do, right? They weren't signing up for coaching. They weren't joining my team, or if they were on my team, they weren't doing the things that were going to make them the money. Well, the problem is I wasn't prospecting, right? I wasn't prospecting. I wasn't doing the things I needed to do. And in April, I'm giving you like all of this info, by the way. You please stop me if I'm like going way off the deep end here and not giving you guys value. So what I ended up doing was I realized I came to this fruition in October of last year, and I said, this is definitely not working. And mind you, I found out May of last year I was pregnant. So I was like, okay, I'm coming up to things are going to shift, and I knew they were going to shift, and I didn't know what it meant for me. Mind you, the market also shifted, right? We all felt the shift in 2022. It went from, balls to the walls, buyers all over the place. Things are selling, whether they appraise or not. And here I am not producing as much as I did. Like, what happened? We had that, everything just changed with the interest rates. So I made a hard line in the sand. I said, I'm going to focus on me. For the next few months, I'm going to focus solely on me, my production, building up my pipeline and doing what I needed to do. And I had started putting things in place earlier on, such as in July, I started my YouTube channel. We're going to dive into that because that has a big part to do with this. But I wanted to focus on just one thing, and that's production. And once I did that, things exploded, right? Now, not immediately. So this is one thing I always tell everybody. Whenever you make a decision, the decision isn't when you see the change. The decision is when your actions change. But it's not when you see the results, right? It's like when you decide to go back to the gym, because I'm saying decide to go back because all of us have left and then decided to go back, right? And so when you decide to go back to the gym, the first week sucks. The second week sucks, right? It's everything's sore. You don't want to get up early, but where do you see the results? Is it in the first 2 weeks? No. It's 6 months later when you go, whoa, I didn't know I had that muscle, or whoa, my knees don't hurt going up the stairs, right? It's the same thing in business. So I went from doing 287. The entirety of last year, I did 13.3 million. That's it. Now, flash forward, I made that decision in October to focus really hard. The date of this recording, it's late April. All right. So we have finished 4 months of the year. And I currently either have under contract or closed 14.5 million. And $326,000 in GCI. But it was focus, right? That's exactly, it was just focus and follow up. That's all it was. And mind you, I haven't gone back to calling expireds. I can, that's the next thing that I can add on there, but I'm going to show you guys how I've been able to, it's not a balance. There's no balance here, right? There's no work-life balance. It is a rhythm. And you just got to figure out what your rhythm is. And my rhythm keeps changing. So let's dive into now. I'm getting kind of like a background in how, yes, even if you're down or new or what have you, wherever you are, you can achieve numbers like this I'm going to dive back into how video helped me get to this point, right? So I told you when my first low point, I got back into cold calls, right? I got back to hitting my expires, getting those listings up. And I don't know if you might be like me. I was always told if you don't have listings, you're not a good agent, right? Like it's just like this connotation that seems to follow around. Like you lead with listings, which is true. You get other clients off of listings, but it doesn't mean you're not a great agent, right? I would rather just see money in the bank. I don't care where they come from. And I would hope everybody else is the same way. But the other thing I had to get over and change my mindset was that there's different ways of prospecting. And see, me doing cold calling, the reason I did it for many reasons. One, it was inexpensive. Two, I could pick a specific time to do it and I could count on the result, right? I could say, if I call this many people, I'm going to get this many deals, which made sense to me. And it was following the rhetoric of you're a listing agent, so you're going to get more deals. Great. Here's where things changed a little bit. It was about a month and a half. I want to say it was a month and a half after I found out I was pregnant, and I started realizing not only were cold calls going to be a little bit more challenging, but I realized I was going to go to these listing appointments with a huge belly, and people are going to look and go, honey, you're about to pop. Like, are you really sure, you can list my house? And for a second, I thought maybe that's just negative thinking on my part, but it did actually happen more than once. So what I did was I said, okay, I've got to come up with something else though. Like, I can't keep doing the same churn over and over and over. Of course, I can call my past clients. I can call my database, and you should, but I need something else. And I was almost in tears on the phone one day talking to my coach. And it was a few days after that, we were on a call, and she goes, Kaila, have you thought about YouTube? And I said, well, I have a YouTube channel, it's all agent coaching. No one watches it. So I don't even know why I still put videos up there. I was just hoping I was going to share the things that I knew and people would just go do it and be successful, and nobody did. So I said, I'm still putting videos out there, but nobody watches them. She goes, well, you're doing it to agents. She goes, what if you shift your focus and launch a new one and try and get buyers? And I'm like, great, I'm gonna have to go run around with buyers, I guess, and I kind of thought about it. She goes, here's the thought process. You're already doing video, but if you shift your focus and focus on getting buyers, and potentially buyers who want to move to Charlotte, North Carolina, maybe this will allow you to create content once and allow it to constantly keep going. I was like, okay. She goes, you need to check out a gentleman by the name of Levi Lassick. And I'm like, okay. So I jump onto his page, living in Dallas, Texas. And I start just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. I'm like, okay, I see what she's talking about. I could set this up. I've told Levi this. I literally stalked his YouTube page for 2 weeks, copied every single page. I told him, I was like, dude, I took your shit verbatim, put it in here and changed it from from Dallas to Charlotte, from Texas to North Carolina, all of it. I said, because it was written really well, and I didn't think you'd care. And he goes, I don't. So I went ahead and I started building it out. And here's where it gets really difficult. Doing something consistently with seeing 0 results. No one commenting, no one liking the videos, barely any subscribers. I think it took me, like 4 months to get 100 subscribers, right? It was a slow go, actually maybe longer than that. So I launched my channel in July. Now, mind you, I'd always done video, and there's another layering of video that I'll share with you guys that I do. But I went ahead and I was just really consistent. Twice a week, I was dropping videos, and it was about the areas, things that people might want to know. And then I got my first phone call. It was like 3 weeks, or no, it was probably 3 months into having the channel. I got a phone call. Hey, we're moving to Charlotte. We saw all of your videos. And I'm sitting there going, there's like 12, but okay, I'm here for it. Like, you think I'm bigger than I really am, and that's okay. So boom, showing them houses. About a month, a couple weeks later, I get another call. Hey, we're moving to Charlotte. We need to be there in like literally 2 months. Can you help us? Yeah, sure. A couple weeks later, hey, we're moving to Charlotte. Hey, we're moving to Charlotte. Hey, we're moving to Charlotte. Text messages, we're moving to Charlotte. Can you help us? Emails, we're moving to Charlotte. Can you help us? Instagram posts, we're moving to Charlotte. Can you help us? And what I realized was, I was like, okay, this is really cool. And it clicked. I mean, it clicked earlier than this, but now it was like I was really seeing it. People were seeing videos I'd made 4 months ago. The video I made 4 months ago was helping me find that buyer client. I wasn't reaching out to them. They were finding me organically. Now, one of the other things that I'm going to note is, oh my gosh, where is that going? Oh, that's where it is. The number of hours prospecting. All right. So when I was logging in, I was starting to get really excited watching my YouTube because I was looking, not my own videos, which I do watch, but I was looking at the analytics. Now, I told you guys I was doing cold calling, right? Cold calling is 3 hours a day, 5 days a week. You get a client, great, right? What if I was cold calling 36 hours a day? And I know that's impossible, but I'm giving you an example here. 36 hours a day, every day for 28 days. What would that prospecting look like? Well, here's the thing. Right now, that's what my YouTube is doing for me. I've got 1,000 hours of watch time every 28 days. That means people from all over the states are watching, and actually outside of the United States as well. I got a lot of Canada people that watch Canadians, but people are watching from all over the place. 1,000 hours a month, and I'm not having to pick up the phone. Now, here's the second cool part. The people that are reaching out to me, they're already ready and willing, right? They've either made the decision or they're slightly on the fence about Charlotte and they want to learn more about it. So they're going to call me and talk to me about it. Or they said, yeah, we're definitely moving, but they've already picked me as their agent. So long are the days of, away are days for me of sitting down in someone's living room, right? You drive a half hour there, you sit in their living room for 2 hours because it's never going to be an hour appointment, even though you always want it to be, it never is, convincing them that you're the person for them. No, I've already sold them with the thousands of hours of watch time that they've been doing that I'm their agent, that I'm the person. Like when people call me, they're like, oh my God, I feel like I'm talking to a movie star. Like I've had people say that. I'm like, I mean, cool. If HGTV calls, I'm giving them your number and you can hype me. But people get really excited because they're like, we've watched all your videos, you're our agent, right? Like I got a sale this weekend. They called me on Monday. We did a Zoom call on Thursday. They were coming in the following Tuesday, but they saw a house online over the weekend. We made an offer and got them under contract before I'd even met them, before they'd come to Charlotte. They were under contract on a $600,000 house. Okay, cool. I literally spent 5 minutes with them. I opened the door, I showed the house when they got into town, and then they left. That was it. So that's been just a huge eye opener for me. So at this point, I was running through my numbers with Levi the other day because I was sharing with him what was going on. And I think I've got 75,000 in GCI that's closed so far from YouTube. I have another 86,000 that is actively looking right now, meaning they're like in town this week. We've got them out on showings right now, another 86,000. And in the pipeline, we have another 300,000 in GCI that is, outside of that maybe is moving in the next 6 months to a year, which by the way, those people always end up moving faster. Or they plan on renting for a year and then start looking, which they always move faster. So it's been really incredible to see the growth. Now, the big thing, I think that was the game changer for me, becoming a new mom. I was not a mom before January of this year. So hats off to all you mamas. Yeah, it's not the easiest thing in the whole world, but the cool thing was I pre-recorded video. So I knew I was going to be out at some point, right? I pre-recorded 9 videos, which I wanted to do 18. So I had 2 per week while I was out, but my water broke the day before I was supposed to finish filming and then it didn't happen. So anyway, I went ahead and I pre-recorded video, and every week I would drop one of the videos. So no one actually knew I was out. My YouTube channel the analytics kept chugging along, because if you go dormant, it pushes you down in the ratings. It just kept going and people kept calling. And by the time I was ready to come back from maternity leave, I'm looking at my little sheet over here on my other screen here. I've gotten since then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Actually, since last week, I've gotten 7 leads, including a commercial lead wanting to buy a gas station, which those things are not cheap, by the way. By the way, I'm not handling that. I'm not a commercial person, but I will get somebody to do it. But I've gotten a bunch of leads off of it, but I've closed a bunch of people just because YouTube was chugging, which is really cool. So that's just one of the ways of using video is YouTube, but I've got 2 other ways that I'd be happy to share. But I know you probably have questions, so I want to make sure I'm not just like talking your ear off the whole time.
Yeah, no, I love this. And we've got somebody on this call, Beth, who does a ton of YouTube and is getting some great leads on it.
Nice.
My question is, and this we'll come back to talking video. Tell me how you're leveraging this. Okay, so you're a new mom. How many buyers agents do you have there? How often are you actually opening the doors? You know,
Yep.
how are you making this tick?
Great question. So let's start with the video portion, right? So I don't edit my own video. Can I? Yes. Have I in the past? Yes. But I do have a virtual assistant that I have. I actually have 2. One that kind of does my show. I'm narrowing down to 1. But I have somebody that does all the edits for me. And currently I like uploading the video and adding all of the additional pieces myself. But I hate doing the chapters. So he jumps in and does all the chapters for me because it's the one thing I just don't like. So I've got that portion. The second portion that I have is one of the agents that was on my team or is on my team. She came to me and she's like, I really don't like prospecting. I was like, dude, I get it. I said, you know what? I am building something up right now that I could use help on. What do you think about being a showing assistant for me? And my compensation back would be 10% of every deal closed, you know, of whatever is received. She's like, okay, we can do that. So for her, she's doing what she loves, which is opening and showing houses. Like she enjoys that. For me, because I don't like doing that, I get to talk to people, you know, do the negotiations, go in that way and handle all that. Now, the third bit of leverage that I have is I would say my assistant, but he's not even an assistant. He's my director of operations. Like he runs my business. He's been with me since, I think it was like late 2016. I hired him on. I was a newbie too. He tells all the agents on my team, he's like, I remember Kaila, we would sit back to back and she would make calls every day from 9 to 12 every single day. I heard the same thing over and over and over again. So he's been with me from the start. So he runs my business. Like he's into everything and he knows more about how we function, honestly, I think than at this point than I do. If someone told me to go upload something in SkySlope, I'd be like, okay, give me an afternoon because it's been a minute. So Marvin, shout out to Marvin. And then my other leverage is our amazing nanny, Linda, who started with us back in late March. And it was one thing that I realized, one, I was very attached to my baby. I didn't know I was going to be that attached, but I'm also really business driven. So for me, it brings me value for myself to not only be in business, but also to be a mom. And I knew before I even had a kid, I could not be a stay-at-home mom. It was just something that I just knew I wasn't going to desire. So to every mom out there that's also working from home and being a mom without extra help, mad props because I knew I couldn't handle it. It's a lot. So the dream team, and I'll throw in my husband there because we tag team. He'll, take my son's name is Maverick. He'll take Maverick on a Saturday if I'm out at showings, but if it's a Sunday, I'll bring him with me, because occasionally I will go show a property to clients that I really like, ones that are like 3 times repeat clients, you know what I mean? It's, yeah, come on, I'll bring the baby, I'll go out in jeans and a t-shirt, we're chit-chatting because we talk all the time. So that's been my biggest leverage pieces of people.
Cool. Well, let's jump in, unless Beth or anybody else has a question before we move on to the next piece. You said there's 2 other things of video you want to talk about.
There are, and I'm totally open to questions at any point, by the way.
I would love to say, hey, I started a Living in Asheville channel in December 1st, and I have,
Nice.
I don't even know how many, like 450 subscribers or something like that.
Nice.
I've already closed my first deal, but like every week I get 2 or 3 leads, like people who are ready, willing, and able, and they are just, oh gosh, I don't want to miss my exit. They are just ready to rock. And it's just such a different experience dealing with people from YouTube, just like what you said. It's just amazing. And it's been a game changer for me. I'm like, I hope that's the only thing that I can do, really.
Right.
I've kind of cut out on my short form content a little bit because I'm like, I like these people better. So anyway, just wanted to say, hey, that's awesome. Love it. we do have some help. My husband films everything. He knows how to do it all. And we kind of get to put our creative hand on it. And I just get to be me on camera, which I never knew that I loved, but I do. And it's just a blast. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. Congrats on that. That's sweet.
One question. Do you share your YouTube channel with your clients or like anywhere? Because it's been one of the biggest debates is like, should we share our channel with other people or should we organically let it be found? So like if I have a client that's thinking about moving to Asheville, but has not found me through YouTube and they're asking me all the questions that I cover in my YouTube channel, should I share it with them?
I would. So I have a similar philosophy. So philosophy for me is share it anywhere, anyhow, anyway, right? You're going to be found organically at any point. But because my channel's already kind of gotten going now, I started to share it on Facebook, share it into a TikTok, etc. But what I will do, instead of giving like, let's say a client that I did a video on how to buy a house in North Carolina. So it was actually, I used to do, which was my 2020, 2021, why things exploded. I was doing a first time home buyer workshop that I would do online. I would get like 40 leads per workshop and then work through the people and help them buy a house. So I actually did that workshop in a video and put it onto my channel. Now it wasn't specific Charlotte stuff, but now because it's on there, if somebody's got questions, I just watch this video or listen to the audio of it and I'll send them the video and then they'll start poking around too. It's not going to hurt to do it, but I think it's an opportunity in my opinion. It's one of those wherever you can send it, just send it out. And out of morbid curiosity, I'm pretty sure I know what road you're on, which is really funny. I went to high school in Asheville. Our parents live up there. So yeah, and then the second part to that too, which I think I already said, but posting it on Facebook, like, hey guys, new videos out. I know I'm not gonna get a ton of hits on it, but if even a few people start getting pulled in, and then next I'm gonna start doing sending out a once a month email with like, hey, here's the most recent, videos all about Charlotte. If you guys have questions, let me know, like just to hit the database. So yeah. Say hey to AC Reynolds as you go past. So then there are two other pieces of video that I've started to do. So one is short form content. So the short form, I call it not the lazy way, but how should I say this? They always say, if you want a job done quickly, give it to the laziest person, right? So basically what I'm doing is instead of making TikToks and being really creative, those short form work, but only if you're doing a ton of it and doing it really consistent, right? Like you've got to be on it every day, all day, every day. And I just don't have the time for that. I don't have the energy. I'm very creative, but not that creative. So what I started doing was I said, well, what can I do utilizing the video I've already filmed? So that's what I started doing. My VA will go in as they're editing and they'll just splice out a 30 to 2 minute, depending upon what the content is, clip of the video I did and put that into TikTok, linking it to my YouTube, put it into Insta, linking to my YouTube, put it in Facebook, link to my YouTube, put into YouTube Shorts, linking to said YouTube channel. So people will now get really excited. They're like, oh, well, that's a cool bit of information. Click and follow it because I want to see more, right? So I'm catching these short form content people, pulling them over to my YouTube channel in order for them. Now, yes, going back to what Beth said, organic finding versus being pulled in. Honestly, I don't care, because for me, the subscribers are going to keep growing, which is what I want, which is how I ended up going viral at one point. This is a totally different conversation, but it was through video, but it led me to getting 16,000 followers on Facebook, right? So it's like all about, it is short form content doesn't have to mean funny, hilarious TikToks, right? It can just be information, pull them in. So that's the second piece. The third piece of video is something that I call, well, and I didn't coin this, by the way, multi-channel marketing. All right. So I was training with Veronica Figueroa and John Cheplack. They were my two coaches, and John taught me how to do this. He said, what you want to do every single week, film like a 2.5 minute video on either what's going on with the market, something that someone should know about real estate, and then something like local event like Tuck Fest here in, at the Whitewater Center this weekend. Actually, it was last weekend. Do a short video on it, then takes that video and upload it onto Facebook. You're also going to take that video and upload it onto rev.com, rev.com. Rev.com is a transcriber. You pay like $6, it'll transcribe your video into written word. You then take the copy and put that also into that post on Facebook. So you've got your entire thing of what you said, add some emojis, add some chart, different numbers if you want to, and then have your video. Then while you're on Facebook, and by this, you're going to do this on your business page, you go ahead and boost it. Do not mess with the boost, just boost it. This is the one thing that he had taught me, is because Facebook says, yeah, people try to narrow it down really specific and it actually doesn't work as well. Just let Facebook do what Facebook does. The more you do it, the better it hones in on your particular audience and you're going to get a better feedback. So you go ahead and boost it. Here's one of the key pieces. Once you boost it, you're going to get the link, right? So you guys know how to share things on Facebook. You can click on it, you can get a link. You're going to pull the link and then you're going to jump into MailChimp. Make sure you have your entire database. I don't care what you use for your database. I use Follow Up Boss because I love it. But I go ahead, I have all of my database that funnels into MailChimp. By the way, I use MailChimp because it is the least bounce rate. It has the lowest bounce rate. So people are actually going to get your content. And my entire database, I don't care who you are, where I met you, you are going to get an email from me every single week that has an image. You're going to put an image of your video with a little play button. You can do this on Canva, and you're going to connect the link that takes them to your business Facebook page to see the video. Because when you send video embedded in an email, it bounces like crazy. It's too big of a file and it won't send it. Even BombBomb is terrible for this. Most BombBomb videos get bumped because it's such a big file, because it's a GIF file. So you're going to go ahead and you're going to put your little image right in there. Don't use JPEG, use PFG.
PNG.
Yep. PNG, thank you. Use PNG image, link it to that Facebook video, and then you're going to do a little write-up. Put like a really good hook, at the front, right? You want your actual title of that or subject line to be a really good hook. Like, did you know you're wasting thousands of dollars by buying ... And then in it, I did a video talking all about, well, if you're buying without talking to the right lender, you could be wasting thousands of dollars, right? It caused them to click. And it's like when the 5 o'clock news says your children are dying from drinking the water, news at 5, it's like, actually, we just added an extra 2 ounces of chlorine. So just boil your water, but it made us watch. It's the same thing, but I'm giving information, right? And then that video is all about how now in North Carolina, the first time home buyer is $15,000 in, down payment assistance. And it's a short clip, but every single week, my whole database gets it. Every single week it goes out on my Facebook business page and I share it to my personal page, but it's content and information. And that's the thing. None of these are going to say, if I put this many out, I'm going to get this much back. But what it is saying is when people are ready to make that decision, if they've seen you enough times saying the same thing over and over, they are going to think of you and they are going to pick you. And that's what social media and video is all about. It's not about making the #1 best video ever. It's about making enough that's consistently going out and consistently being seen that people do it. So like, show of hands for those of you who are on here. Do you have a company in your inbox, in your email, that sends you stuff every week and you delete it every week, but you don't unsubscribe because you know one day you're going to need it? Right? Like I don't need 5 emails from Victoria's Secret every week, but I don't want to unsubscribe.
Nazi.
Are you?
Yeah.
If it's something that I'm like, I sign up, I'm like, I'm going to need that coaching one day. I'm going to leave that there. I'm just going to keep deleting it. It's fine. Like even my assistant goes, Kaila, seriously, you've never used this. It's been 3 years. I was like, but I know where to go when it happens. I know when I need that thing, I'm going to get that email because they're consistent with sending it to me. And I've done polls every time I've spoken asking about that. And usually there's at least half the room that's like, yeah, I do that because like I want to make sure I know that they're going to get back to me on it. So it's kind of fun. So it's about the consistency of staying in front of people.
That's awesome. I feel like there's so many good nuggets in here. So much gold.
Good. I did a little bit, which is awesome.
Well, so here's something that, you know, Beth is great, and she does YouTube. I would like to get into it. I think it's the wave of the future. It's obviously, especially as a parent, you know, you can build a team and you can actually get time with your family. Where's the space for multiple people doing this? Are you competing with multiple people in Charlotte doing this, or are you the only one that's had this great idea?
No, there are 6 other channels in Charlotte of agents that specifically, I think there's 3 specifically that their channel is called the same thing as mine. But they don't have as many subscribers. They're not as consistent. Some started up and dropped off. And honestly, it has to do with your personality too. Like, who's going to connect with you? How are you doing your videos? Mine are kind of mixed up a little bit. Feel free to go look at it. It's literally called Living in Charlotte, North Carolina. I also have a website for it too. So if you go to livingincharlottenc.com. And the big thing that I noticed was, although there's plenty of content out there saying the same thing, there's always the same content out there saying the same thing. There are 13,000 real estate agents. Beth, correct me if I'm wrong. There's like 13,000 real estate agents in our MLS. In our MLS alone. So are all of them saying the same thing? Sure. But are all of them doing the same, I would say, efforts to put information out there? So that's where the big change is. It's how much information are they putting out there, how frequently, and how are they doing it? Because there's some that I've watched that I don't connect with. Like, there's a gentleman, no knock on him at all. He has a ton of subscribers. I'm sure he gets a ton of business. But I don't like his videos as much. Like, I don't feel like he has as much personality, you know, like he's just kind of like, so today we're going to talk about such and such. And like, he smiles and his video is like, you know, very clear. But at the same time, it's like, not like feeling your jive. You know, he does a lot of driving around ones where, you know, he's not connecting with you and he's giving some info. So it's like, as you start studying other people that are doing it, not only are you realizing, oh, this is why people are reaching out, or, oh, I see why they're connecting more on this video with this person than they are with me. Let me do another video. By the way, don't take a video down, just do another one. Like, it's very rare that someone's actually going to watch every single video you put out. Even though they say that, they're like, I've watched all your videos. I'm like, you've watched 68 videos? Like, there's no way. Some of them are like 30 minutes long. There's literally no way. So usually they're not going to realize that there's a semi-repeat or that you've put the same information out more than once, because different people from all over the country are looking. Think about it. Different people. There's a reason relocation companies exist, right? I'm just becoming the relocation informer to people that are coming to the area. So that's the way I look at it. So there's always enough there. You just have to push and dig and keep being consistent and it'll come out.
That's awesome. Anybody, any other questions from the crowd?
It's not a question, or sorry, someone else chime in?
Oh no, you go for it.
Okay. Sorry, Kimmy, I'm an agent. I've been coming in and out because I'm also driving around the wonderful city of Asheville with no service. But I also I have a home inspection business, and we do a lot of social media stuff. Love the tip about the Facebook link, because same, we do a lot of MailChimp, but yeah, it's hard to like figure out that stupid like equation of like, how do I not get bounced? So that's genius.
Yeah.
So I just want to say thank you for that. All great stuff. So thank you, but that was really great.
Yeah, heck yeah. And I just put, Beth, if you watch the recording, it probably won't be in there, but I did put the link to the website. So it's livingincharlottenc.com. So that's one thing that I did do with my YouTube channel. I made a website to mimic and have everything on there. So if they go to the website, or if I send someone the website, they can click on their videos and bring them back into YouTube. And the other thing is I'm getting, which I was out on maternity leave and was not going to drive to the office to get everything taken care of. But I've also created a Living in Charlotte, North Carolina business page on Google. So now I just have to confirm my location, which I didn't want to make it my house. I wanted to make it my office. So I'm still going through the process of that, because I've got it. They were going to mail me the thing, and then mail me the thing. Then I figured out a workaround where they could call me while I was in my location, but I was on my sofa, you know, on bed rest after being stitched, you know what I mean? So I wasn't planning on going to my office at that time. So that's actually slated for this week. I'm gonna give them a call back.
What brokerage are you with?
Well, if we don't have any questions,
I'm with EXP.
Okay. So yeah, that's a big concern that we always have is like, what do we list as our Google business place? So
Yeah. I
that's
do
a
have my
great
own
idea.
office. Yeah, I do have my own office. So it's not like, you know, the EXP office. I'm like, what do they consider me? It's considered like a branch office or what. I mean, it's just me. It's like me, my assistant, and like 2 other agents, one that like rents a room for me. And my husband's company is upstairs. It's a house that's a commercial property. So yeah, that one is going to be a game changer too, because people Google. And then once it's connected to that Google page, connected to YouTube, my videos are the first things that are going to pop up when they start searching for Charlotte on Google.
That's a great idea because I was just setting up a Facebook page living in Asheville, but I should have a business Facebook page instead, right?
I mean, you could. I don't think it would hurt to do that. I'm more focused on getting the Google page. Like the Facebook is great, but it's not as searchable as Google and YouTube. So I didn't really worry about doing anything on Facebook from a page perspective. And definitely not a group. I did start a group a while ago, moving to Charlotte, North Carolina, but it took so long to get off the ground. And once again, it was one of those every day you have to put content on, otherwise it loses traction, versus it just working for me after I did it once. So I kind of just, it went to the wayside. But I probably could start dropping video in there, who knows? But yeah, to your point, you could, the more you do, the better. Like that's one thing with video. Like, don't worry about making it perfect. Just put more content out there, but make sure that it's someplace where it can be consistently searched. That's the big thing. If it can be searched, it will be found, and then it will keep doubling down.
I love this. Okay, so we have 10 minutes left. Talk to us about how you split your time with Surf City and how we can all
not nearly
grow
as
our
much as I
business so we
want
can do
to.
that
I
too.
know more. I would like to do it more than I do. Summertime, we rent the house out quite a bit, so I'm not out there as much. But we'd always vacation in Surf City all the time. I love Surf City, and it was one of those we'd go out and we're like, man, wouldn't it be cool to have a house? But you know, we're not 65 and retiring, so I guess that's not going to happen. You know, that's what you think. You get a beach house when you retire. And at the time, I guess we were both like 32, I guess. It was a couple of years ago, 2 years ago. It was 2021. Wow, it was a long time ago. And my husband was like, look, you've been working your tail off. We're doing well. You deserve a beach house. That's really what he said. You deserve a place because I surf. He's like, you need to be able to go surf. And I was like, I do agree with this. So I said, well, how are we going to do that? So we decided for date night, we were going to jump on, and don't kill me, Zillow. Okay, jumped on Zillow, but I don't have access to the MLS out there. So we jump on Zillow and we're scrolling, we're scrolling. We're like, you know, let's go out. This was a Wednesday night. I said, let's just go get, you know, a condo out there for the weekend and we'll go house hunting. You know, we'll literally drive around and I'll set up a couple of showings with some, you know, with an agent out there, and we'll just go look at some houses. Side note, my super key actually does work on some of those houses. So I was like, we'll just go look at a couple houses. We're like, okay, cool. So we're looking around. I'm writing a couple down. And then all of a sudden, I see this one property and I'm like, whoa, where'd this come from? Right now, mind you, our price point, we were looking at like 500 or less, right? 500,000 or less. And we kind of were looking for a fixer upper because my husband's a GC. I'm like, look, we could just go out, renovate it, and then move in, you know, get it for a better price, to a cash out refi. So we're looking at it. So, well, this one pops up and it's been on for 73 days and it is spotless. Even the furniture is adorable and the furniture comes with the property. I'm going, okay, it's like, you know, 2 rows back from the ocean and it's on the marsh, which is awesome. So it's nice and quiet out back. And it's got 3 covered porches and an outdoor shower and open floor plan, 2 living rooms. I'm like, this is pretty sweet. I'm like, what's the price on this? So I look and it says it's, what it was, it was like 280. I think it was the, or I'm sorry, 480. And I was like, 480. Okay, this is doable. So the more I look at it, now I really like it. But now I'm like, hey, it's been on 73 days. So I told my husband, I said, look, I think we can come in like 20K under, right? It's been on 73 days in this market. Absolutely. So I find the listing agent's info because I have a girlfriend that lives out there. She got the info for me because Zillow doesn't give you the right info. And call the listing agent. I was like, or I texted him, it was like 9 o'clock at night on a Wednesday. Okay. I texted him, hey, I'm actually an agent in Charlotte. I'm interested in buying for myself.
This is the address. Is it still available? He goes, we have 2 other offers. And I went, crap. And I look at my husband, who now in his mind has the investor mindset of we're going 20K under. And I said, honey, I'm emotionally invested. And he went, oh no, which means to him, I'm going to do whatever it takes at this point. Right. So I said, we're going in full ask. And he's like, oh, okay, you know, happy wife, happy life. So I went ahead and make a full price offer. So I called the agent the next day. I said, look, I know you can't tell me if we're winning this thing, but can you, this is literally my dream house. Can you just tell me, like, do we look okay? And he like pauses and he like, kind of, you can like hear him on the other side of the phone, like thinking about how he's going to be able to tell me this. And he goes, you're a little light. And I said, little light, noted. I'll get right back to you. So I look at my husband. He had just walked in my office. I said, we're going 10K over. And he's like, oh my God, you know, like, really? We went from 20K under and now we're going 10K over. I was like, honey, it's worth it. And he's like, okay. So we make the offer and the guy goes, when are you going to come out? And I said, look, we're supposed to be out there noon on Friday. So we go out, he lets us walk and he goes, you won the house if you want it. And it was like one of the coolest moments I think in my entire life. I walked out on the beach and I was just like, holy crap, we just did this. And we bought the house. Now it's worth like $725, $750, which is insane. But we go out there as many weekends as we can. So it's like we're very part-time out there. But the cool thing is we were able to test out our businesses working from afar. So we'll go for like, you know, a week or a few days at a time, and we'll go out to the beach and we'll work in the morning and then we'll go play in the afternoon. But the nice thing is we've been able to leverage ourselves enough that we don't necessarily have to always be on site. Like if I was out of town for a month, I could probably figure it out because I've created a support staff that's here. And when I say staff, it's not like, don't picture like a crazy big team. Like very simple. We've got like 2 people on our team, my admin and my virtual assistant. Like that's my team, that's my crew. But with having buyers, it's actually become more easier than having sellers, which sellers used to be easy for me. Buyers have become more easy for me because I don't have to physically be here. As long as someone can open a door, I can make offers from afar, but I can't go on listing appointments from afar. I'm sure I could. There's somebody out there who's like, I do them all by Zoom, and some do, but I know there's the way that I've always done it is sitting in someone's living room. So I have been able to leverage it a little bit more, which also has given me more structure because now I can spend more time with my little one. So that's been really helpful. And he does like the beach. We did take him out for the first time a couple of weeks ago, finally. And we've got another beach weekend slated for 2 weeks from now. So we're pretty stoked. But yeah, that's how you do it. So getting a little bit more leverage, you can spend more time out of town.
That's awesome. That's my goal. And I think that's a goal for a lot of ladies on here. Kaila, we really appreciate you. So much good information. I made you join the She Sparks group so you can comment, you can leave, you can do whatever you want, but there are 90 real estate agents, females trying to build, thrive, and grow together.
Heck yeah.
It.
Awesome. Well, thank you for having me. Hopefully you guys got some nuggets.
Yeah, this is really great. I've got my eye on Oak Island house, so I might call you and discuss logistics.
Just do it. I convinced my other girlfriend to do it too. 2 of my other girlfriends were like, oh, we can do that? Yeah, I'm going to go do it too. And they both bought one. I'm like, okay, both in different beaches.
Did you get referrals for both of them?
No, it was more of a, you know, just go do it for yourself. You've been talking about it for forever. Just make it happen.
Yeah, that's
You'll
awesome.
figure it out.
All right. Well, appreciate you.
Thank you. Have a good one, you guys.
Thanks.